What's up everybody, my name is Big Cam and welcome back to another movie review, and today we are talking about 2025's Ballerina from the world of John Wick. And this movie is set in between John Wick 3 and 4, and honestly almost during John Wick 3, because we kind of see, I believe, some events in John Wick 3 in this movie. So I think it's much closer to 3 than 4, although the 4 John Wick movies I think only take place over like a week, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that long a period of time between the movies in the actual setting of the movies, where John Wick 1 to John Wick 4 was what, a decade or something, you know, like for us. But for the character of John Wick, it was only like a week, you know? So even though it looks like Keanu ages a lot between the years of the movies, he's still John fucking Wick, baby. And that black on black suit. I just got my suit the other day for my a wedding coming up in July, and I went John Wick style, black on black, and it looks good. But yeah, Ana de Armas is the ballerina, Eve Macaro, and of course there's Keanu in here, there's ANJELICA Houston, and she plays the director of the Ruska Roma. Norman Reedus is in here, Lance Reddick was in here for his final role, I think. Rest in peace, Lance Reddick, so sad about him. Ian McShane, I mean, how can you not love Ian McShane, you know what I mean? But you know, seeing Ana de Armas in this role was just so perfect. And the Rotten Tomato score the last time I looked was a 72% certified fresh, with just passing grade, with 145 critic reviews. And then the audience score with over 500 reviews, 93% audience score. It's a 2-hour and 5-minute R-rated movie, and I saw it yesterday in a double feature actually. I went early at 1, saw this, went and got my suit, you know, because I had just had to pick it up from getting alterations and tailoring. So I went and saw the movie, went and got my suit, and I went back and saw The Materialist after. So stay tuned for tomorrow's movie review for The Materialist if you're interested in something like that. But just to fully rank my John Wicks, I think this movie is a proper entry to the John Wick universe, although, you know, the director isn't Chad Stahelski like the other John Wick movies. This movie was directed by Len Wiseman, who has done things like the Underworld movies with Kate Beckinsale, and did Live Free or Die Hard, with obviously an older Bruce Willis coming back as John McClane. They did Total Recall, the remake with Colin Farrell, and it seems like they've done, other than that, they've just been the writer and director for the Underworld movies. And genuinely, I did a movie the other day where I thought the guy that did the Resident Evils was this movie. Like, I was picturing the Resident Evil movies as these Underworld movies for some reason, with Mila Jovovich. But what I was actually picturing in my head was the Underworld movies with Kate Beckinsale. I haven't seen either, so if you're a fan of the Resident Evils or the Underworld movies, you know, comment below which is better, what are they like, and honestly, I'm not interested in either, but if you tell me there's werewolves in either one of those, I might be interested. But Ballerina, honestly, the best parts are Ana de Armas and John Wick, but there is some very, you know, out of the 5 movies that we have now, there is some very creative ways of action and fighting. You know, it's not all just shoot, punch, kick, shoot, like, you know, some of the John Wick movies can feel at times. All of a sudden you're just like, yeah, I just spent 2 hours of blood and violence and gore, like, and you just get numb to it. You don't even think about, you know, the murders anymore. But there was a sequence in this where she's defending herself with grenades, and she's like, you know, her only weapon of choice is grenades, and she's just like, you know, pulling the pin, throwing it, and then hiding for a second, and then explosion, and then sees another guy, pulls another pin, throws the, you know, it's like she has like a whole banderola of grenades, and she fights off these guys indoors, by the way, indoor grenades as like as a weapon of choice. And I was just like, god damn, man, that was an interesting little sequence that I enjoyed quite a bit. You know, like, she blows a guy up, oh wait, now that's made a hole in the wall for her to go through over here, now this guy's over here, throw another grenade, it breaks a hole in the floor, now they're on the first floor, you know, like, it was not only was it a creative way to use it, it was also storytelling with the action, which I really appreciated, and I thought, like, was some really good details and parts in this. Although, you know, as you were going along, you can kind of tell where the story was going, and that, you know, John was gonna give her some extra couple minutes, you know, and like wasn't just gonna kill her. And obviously she doesn't kill him because there's still John Wick 4, right? And then even if you are a fan of the John Wicks, you know, this is a spoiler, but maybe not, because at the end of John Wick 4, it appears that he has died, but now they've confirmed that John Wick 5 is in the works. So it's like, alright, so I guess he's not dead. I mean, none of us assumed that he was anyways, but like, they show us a tombstone and they're trying to say like, hey man, this is the end. I hope you guys enjoyed these 4 movies. Keanu's getting old, but now apparently they have an idea for a 5th one. So, I don't know, I still want to see him take down the High Table, but it is what it is. If we get a Ballerina 2, because the way this movie ended, it actually kind of felt more like a Ballerina 2 was in the works as well. And we also know that there's a Kane movie with Donnie Yen, and he's going to be directing or, like, you know, starring and, like, probably in control of all the stunts. But I'm fascinated to see that movie as well, especially if John Wick's in there just a little bit. But Ana de Armas, if she has to come back in John Wick 5 or a Ballerina 2 or, you know, Eve Macaro, whatever they call the next one, I would be here for it. You know, Ana de Armas in action, badass. There's at one point where she's like in a flamethrower fight, and it, you know, it was possibly CGI'd fire after the fact, but the fire looked really good. And, you know, she's like running through fire at one point. I was like, God damn, that really looks like it's Ana de Armas running through that fire. Like, if I was somebody on the interview press junket, all I would be asking her was, how much burnt hair smell did you smell on set? Like, you're just running through and your hair's just like crisping up, you know, like little burnt ends of your hair, and just like you could smell it. You're like, something on fire? Is that me? But yeah, solid entry into the John Wick universe, and overall I gave this a ranking or a score out of 5 stars, which is the Letterboxd ranking. If you go 10 stars, you know, drop your score down in the comment section below. But out of my 5 stars, I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. About a 7 out of 10. If I had to give it a true 10 score, it's probably closer to like a 7.5 out of 10, like a 7.5. I enjoyed it, I really did. And, you know, as far as the ranking of the John Wick movies now, of the 5 movies, I think John Wick 4 still comes in number 1. The original John Wick, because of what they did to that dog and just how good that story is, right? And like how much they make you buy into like all of the violence because they did something to his fucking dog. And it's like, yeah, kill them all! Like, but then John Wick 3, Halle Berry and dogs. I mean, how can I not love that movie? And then Ballerina comes in at 4, and then John Wick 2 comes in at 5. I like John Wick 2, but just, it's my least favorite of the bunch for sure. But Ballerina and John Wick 2 are about the same score for me, both 3.5 stars, but I think I would give Ballerina the nudge just a little bit. So yeah, Ballerina sitting at 4 out of the 5 current John Wick movies. I'd love to hear your John Wick rankings down in the comment section below, or you can send them to me on my other social medias. If you'd like to follow my Letterboxd or any of those, the link's down in the description below for any of those other social medias. And if you've made it this far in the video and you would like to support the channel, the best way to do that is smashing the like button, commenting down below, subscribing if you haven't already. About 98% of you aren't subscribed, so please hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way to helping the channel. And, you know, hit that bell so you don't miss future videos. You get the notifications when they come out. But once again, my name is Big Cam. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. And I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace.